Hello everyone, welcome to my second layout video. Now, just like last time, I was only able to build this layout because for this week I'm going to have this room all to myself, and I wanted to use that time in the best way possible, which is of course to build an awesome layout like this one. Now, I had built this layout with the intention of making it different to the last one, which meant not only putting certain pieces in different places than where I had put them last time, but also I wanted to include certain pieces which I hadn't been able to use last time, and of course to also show some of my newer pieces, new engines, and new destinations, and I am happy to report all of those are here. In fact, I think I may have been able to use all of my destinations, with the exception of just one, which isn't even wooden array, so it's okay, I guess. And this layout was live streamed when I was building it, and I thought that I would be able to finish the entire layout in that live stream, but it really wasn't going well. I was having a lot of issues with it. It took me like 2 hours to make this section. It caused me a lot of grief, but after I ended the stream, I managed to complete it. And also the rest of the layout, there were some plans which I haven't been able to really realize, but the layout still turned out well. During construction, I had even somewhat considered tearing it down and starting from scratch, but I'm glad I didn't because it turned out pretty nicely. So without further ado, I'm going to show exactly where each line goes and all of that. So we'll start, of course, at Vickerstown, which has replaced Knapford. Well, you can still see that it is Knapford Station. I have just replaced the canopies with a custom roof, which was made out of cardboard and some plastic sheets. And yes, I know it's kind of silly to have a station whose name is Vickerstown Knapford Station, so just pretend it doesn't say Knapford. Over here we have some mainland engines, we have the Duchess, Spencer, Ginty, and also we have Edward pulling the... Oh my! I remember this. Every year, on my birthday. I don't know what happened. Anyways, the platform number 1 is the express line. So it continues as it is elevated, and it goes to the spiral, which is the biggest thing which I haven't been able to use last time. This thing, of course, has its drawbacks. It caused me some big complications, but I managed to make it work. So we have Emily pulling some of her coaches, as well as some of Sodor's strongest engines pulling the heaviest load. We of course have Gordon pulling the express. And then I used a double long hill piece to get down. This was the first time ever I had managed to use it, and it looks really nice, I have to admit. And it goes actually under a make next to the Blue Mountain Quarry. Here we have one of my newest items. I had only gotten this a couple days ago. This is the push-along Paxton. I don't know what's going to happen to this guy when I eventually get a wooden Paxton, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen, so why not? And then here we have this nice bridge, which I really wanted to use last time but just couldn't. I like it, it reminds me a lot of the Sodor Bay Bridge, so glad I was able to use it. Then we have this station, let's say it's Marin again, because why not? And we have Flora with her HM here. Then we go through this church tower where Rebecca is, and then past the airport where we have Hugo, another new item. And then the express line goes through this level crossing, it continues straight, and then we turn left, up, through this single gantry, and then we end up back at Vickerstown. Now, putting this single gantry here was one of the things I wanted to do. Well, not putting it specifically here, but last time I put it directly behind the Knapford station, and while it is simple to use it that way, I didn't really like how that turned out, so I really wanted to put it somewhere else this time, so I thankfully managed to succeed in that. Anyways, the other 3 lines they all kind of merge together at the back. So first we'll follow the line which is the furthest back. And oh, Toby, what are you doing here? Anyways, the line then continues under and well through the spiral. And here we have Bash and Ferdinand. Last time I only had one of the logging locos, Bash, and now I have two. I am currently missing Dash, and when I get him, I promise you I will build a Misty Island layout. Be afraid. Anyways, this line then continues to the switch, and then if we take Henry's line, we continue to the airport. And then, if we go to this switch and go right, we'll take this bridge where we have Kenji along with some visitors from the other airway. And we get back to platform 4. But what about the middle two lines? How do you get to them? Well, if we go back to the switch between Henry and Ferdinand, and we go to Percy's line instead, we'll go through the turntable, then through Mavis's line, under Vickerstown Station. This is something which wouldn't have been possible if I had just made an effort on the ground level. And then the line goes over this leg of the piano, and it reaches the Take-Along station, as well as something which I have never been able to use on any of my layouts, and that is the Coldifel Airway. This was the only airway missing from my last layout, and I thought it was a shame, but I didn't really have any way to make it. But then I realized that I could put a wooden hill as kind of a, how to say it, as a support track, I guess, and then put my collectible airway tracks over it. I decided to use the collectible airway tracks to make the airway different from the Arsdale airway. And the line is really small, it just goes from this part here to here, where I made a little platform. And currently the line has only one engine, it's Take-Along Cody, and it has no coaches, it only has this flatbed, which I have put some blocks on to make it look like the track. And I hope to eventually have a bigger Coldifel collection, but for now, this is what it looks like, and honestly, I am pretty satisfied with it. I also put one of the Knapford Station's canopies here to make it look like there is a bigger station. But anyways, we also have Rosie with Hannah here, and then the line reaches this switch, which actually leads to a boat dock with this boat where the boat can unmoor from this dock. We have some international engines here, of course, and then the line continues over this crossing through Toby's windmill, and then it reaches platforms 2 and 3 again, and then you can make the same loop again. But there is also this line, which Samson and Bedford are currently using, and that takes you to what I suppose would be the yard. So this switch leads to 4 tracks, one of them is Samson and Bedford's. The other one just goes into this shed. I know it's really more of a tunnel, but since the line ends there, I decided to use it as a shed. The 199 is there for some reason. Then the third line, it takes you under the chute of the Arsdale Airway. And the last one will just take you to the rest of the layout. So if we go right here, we'll go over Thomas's line. And then it takes us to this switch where Ulf is on. And that takes you back to platform 2. So basically this is a way for the engines to turn around. But of course, if they don't want to go back to where they came from, they can go this way through Donald's line. And that takes them back to this line. So yeah, actually now that I think about it, whichever line they take, they will always turn around. But that's not really that big of an issue, honestly. There is also this little station, which is a terminal station. And I put the second Knapford canopy here, and we have Daisy there. there is also this line with Douglas that takes you just to a siding where Billy is. And then there is also another switch here where Henry is. And if you take Dennis's line, that takes you again under Vickerstown Station. But this time, the track goes to the left and it takes you to the Duck Pond Crossing. This destination is really fun and I would like to put it somewhere where it will be more visible. But the problem with it is that engines keep derailing on it and it's just not really useful for through lines. So I had to put it somewhere where not many engines will go, and unfortunately it's this dead-end line. You can see it goes to the wall. You are supposed to pretend that there are more tracks which continue to maybe another part of the island or maybe to the mainland. And you're supposed to pretend the same with this switch here. And of course we have Duck here because, well, come on, it's the Duck Pond Crossing. Anyways, I think that's everything for the... Oh, it's not. The main line and the other line when it also goes through this section has this junction and that takes you to another part of the island. Well, actually several. The first of them is Bandom Docks. Bandom Docks on this layout is probably a little bit better than last time because it has a better, I don't know, form. And it's just these three lines which diverge from the same line, and that's kind of it. Of course we have Cranky here, but we also have my custom 3D printed Carly. I wish to have Big Mickey one day, and I think that maybe he is going to appear on my next layout, which is probably going to be next year. We also have the barrel loader here, and Stefano, my baby. And there is also this siding, which just takes you to this thing where cars can be unloaded on two tracks. We have the thin clergyman's car here, as well as car from the Teleclin Railway. And there is also this thing, but that's narrow gauge, so I'm going to talk about it in just a second. Before I talk about the narrow gauge railway, I want to quickly show this layout's two road sections. That's right, not one, two. The first one starts here under this bridge. This is one of those items which I hadn't been able to use previous time. And a part of that is that it has these two lines under it which are sometimes hard to connect to other tracks. This layout was one of those times, so I had to use it for the road. And if you look closely, you can also see that the road just ends there, it doesn't go anywhere. So it didn't turn out the best, but still better than it could have. And also this bridge is one of those which can do this, so maybe this is the Vickerstown bridge, maybe not, you can decide. So, we of course have some road vehicles, and this road takes you to the back of Wellsworth Station, then over this 3D printed crossing, and then it just kind of ends here. And the other road, it starts here, and it starts as just a single lane, and then we reach this custom V-switch made for the road and made by me. And then the road is double-roaded, I guess, I don't know how else to say it. So it has this hill which is there only because I ran out of roads. And then it just goes under this helipad to the Solar Steamworks. And then the road continues, but because there is the wall, you are supposed to pretend that the road doesn't end there. So, now it is time for the narrow gauge railway. This time, the dwarf didn't make an appearance. Colin is here just to transfer goods between the two railways, so I guess that this is the transfer yard. But the main centerpiece of the narrow gauge railway this time is the steamworks. And last time the steamworks wasn't connected to the narrow gauge line, which was unfortunate, but I could live with it. But this time I really wanted to connect it, so that's what I did. So here we have some mainland diesels threatening Victor, I suppose. And the line with these two diesels is dual gauge, and that takes you to the siding with the train wash. This tunnel is standard gauge, and it is how the standard gauge engines get to the steamworks. Oh, and also we have this bulldog here. Currently this amp is here, and that's again here, so that Skiff could go to the sea. But if I remove this boat can dock here. But back to the narrow gauge railway. One of the narrow gauge lines goes to this thing, which is a city center, or I'm not really sure how else to call it. It's supposed to be that one town which appeared in like season 11, where the narrow gauge engines just went through the town. And I use these just as tracks for it. And it's because they just look like they're one of those railway lines which are embedded in concrete, which looks great for the city center. So I have some road vehicles here, and I also have my custom mill here, as well as this grey thing, which is actually from PlayRail, and believe it or not, I found it in a regular store, even though it's been like a decade since Tommy has been discontinued here, so that was a really nice find. There's also this gate, which is so that engines don't crash into traffic. And then the narrow gauge line continues to Peterson's line, which goes behind the airport, and then there is another junction. As this line takes you to the top of Merrick's Mountain, and it looks like Boulder is on another rampage. And the line on top of Merrick's Mountain ends in Buffers, and we have Freddy and Proteus discussing something, I don't know. And the other line, where Smudger is, takes you under Maron. Again, this isn't really a biblically accurate pseudo layout. Through the waterfall tunnel, I love this piece. And then I suppose you reach the quarry. Luke is on a line which goes into the tunnel which is inside the mountain, but then the line ends. And we also have my custom thread here with the weed killer chain. And this line doesn't go anywhere, it's just here because I ran out of switches. And I believe that is everything for the one line. So now the only thing remaining is the Arsdale Railway. So just like last time, I included the ballast chute, but that's because it's really the only Arsdale Railway destination which I can include. I used a somewhat different design than last time, and this time the Arsdale Railway is really just two loops. This is one of them, and this is the other one. So you can see it's not really very expensive this time. It's really small, but I suppose it is the small railway. If I had more space, I would definitely build something better with the Arsdale Railway, but I couldn't, so this is all I did. And it's not too bad. I mean, it's the Arsdale Railway, it doesn't need to be that big, but I still wish I could have done something better. And I think that is everything for this layout. So once again, I have to shout out these track pieces. They are super useful. They are these half cores which only have 22.5 degrees in them instead of the usual 45. They've helped me in a lot of places. They helped me here, they helped me here, they also helped me here where Diesel is, and on a couple other places, but I don't remember exactly where that was, so... oh, yeah. They also helped me here. Another thing I want to talk about were my cancelled plans for this layout. Originally, I had wanted to put the Steamworks here, and I intended for the main line to continue on its height where it was there, which is 3 levels high, go over the garage, the Steamworks, and then reach Merrick's Mountain. So Merrick's Mountain would have been somewhere here, but that didn't really work out because this thing was higher than I expected. So I had to put it somewhere else. I decided to put it here. And then I had a couple of other ideas, but they weren't really working out. At one point I still used Knapford here instead of Vickerstown, but I'm glad I ended up using Vickerstown instead. And another unused idea was having the main line continue being 1 level high. So basically, it wouldn't have reached the ground level at all, except for a junction whose sole purpose would have been to let the engines get off the main line to go to a shed or something. But that looked kind of boring, so I had to do something else. And of course, I had many other ideas, but they were very small, so there's not really a lot I can talk about there. And one other thing, which isn't really about this layout, but about my collection. For a long time, I was missing a wooden railway Annie, and now I finally have her. So it's been great being able to use the full consist of Thomas Annie and Carabelle on an actual layout. I can't wait to play even more with these three. And I'm also planning to film a couple of videos here. At least one, but if I have enough time, I might do a second one. But I don't know when those will be released because I'll of course need to edit them and all that. And this video will have been released about a week after this layout will be demolished. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but well, that's just how my upload schedule works. And I think that's about everything, except maybe I want to point out that in Tidmouth Sheds we have some of Sodor's oldest engines, including my custom Glyn and Neil. And yeah, I think that's everything. I think that my favorite part of this whole layout is Vickerstown, followed by the Coldefell Railway and this area in general. But there are many other smaller places which I like. For example, this canopy combined with the station. But Vickerstown is definitely my most favorite. And as for the next layout, well, that's probably going to be next year, maybe, I don't know. And I definitely want to try utilize some of the pieces more efficiently. I think Knapford Station is going to come back, and I don't know about the spiral. We'll see. Of course, it's possible that everything will change, and it's also possible that I will just build a Misty Island layout. So yes, I think that's everything. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!